All right, today we're going to tackle a huge challenge that pretty much every AI champion out there faces. How do you get that brilliant idea funded? Well, we're breaking down the AI business case blueprint. Think of this as your guide to turning that potential into a real, actual, approved project. So you've got it. You've identified a totally game-changing AI opportunity. The tech is there, the potential is just massive. But how do you actually bridge that gap? The one between that initial spark of an idea and a fully funded greenlit project. Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And here's the answer, plain and simple. A brilliant idea just isn't enough. Having cool tech, that's just the starting line. If you really want to get that green light, you need a bulletproof business case. We're talking about a document that's compelling, super accurate, and totally aligned with the business strategy. Okay, so let's dive in and figure out how to build one of these. All right, first things first, we have got to talk about the money. Every single great business case is built on a rock-solid financial foundation. This isn't about throwing numbers at a wall and seeing what sticks. No, it's about building your case with cold, hard numbers. So what's absolutely crucial here is showing a really clear before and after picture. You've got to start by collecting baseline metrics from how things are running right now. Things like processing times, error rates, what's the cost per transaction, how many hours are your people spending on manual work. That data, that is the bedrock. It's what you'll use to prove just how much value your AI solution is actually going to bring to the table. Now, this is so important. We're talking about the true cost here. To be credible, you can't just budget for the obvious stuff, like the software license. Nope. You have to map out the total cost of ownership, what we call the TCO. This means digging into all those hidden costs, things like data acquisition and labeling, all the cloud compute power you'll need, the MLOps labor, and, of course, ongoing maintenance and change management. Seriously, getting this part right is what builds trust with your stakeholders. Okay, let's move on, because here's an insight that a lot of people miss. The biggest hurdle? It's often not the technology, it's the story. Once you have all your numbers locked down, you need to wrap them in a compelling narrative that executives can actually understand and, more importantly, get excited about. So, a winning narrative really has 6 key elements. First, define the problem. What's the real pain point here? Second, explain your AI solution, but keep it simple, no jargon. Third, highlight all the amazing benefits, both the money stuff and the strategic wins. Fourth, you got to show a crystal clear return on investment. Fifth, be honest about the risks and show you've got a plan to handle them. And finally, describe how you're going to deliver this thing in phases. That part is so key for building confidence. And you know what? Don't just tell them about the ROI, show them. A simple visual, like a bar chart, comparing the total investment to the projected return over, say, 3 years, that can literally be the single most persuasive thing in your entire pitch. It just makes the value so obvious that it's impossible to ignore. Of course, a great story has to be grounded in reality, right? This is where your technical teams are absolutely essential. They're the ones who validate that, yes, this solution is actually feasible. They make sure your performance assumptions are accurate, and they check that you're aligned with all the super important stuff like security and compliance. That technical validation, that's what makes your whole story believable. Okay, you've got your numbers, you've got your story. Now it's time for the final polish. This is the stage where you review, you refine, and you basically stress test your entire case until it's ready for even the toughest executive. And this is the goal we're aiming for. A bulletproof business case. It's so much more than just a document. It's a polished, accurate, and strategically aligned tool that is specifically designed to get you a yes. It really is the final product of all your hard work. So, right before you submit it, run through this final checklist. Ask yourself, is it complete? Did I write this clearly enough for a non-technical leader to get it? Does it actually align with our company's bigger strategy? And this is critical. Have you double-checked all your assumptions and data? And did you actually incorporate feedback from your key stakeholders? Every single one of these steps just makes your case that much stronger and more defensible. So let's just zoom out for a second and think about what this really means for you. When you master this process, you're elevating your role. You're no longer just managing a project. You are truly driving strategic innovation for the whole company. And this is put perfectly right here. Your role in this is absolutely critical. You're the one building the evidence, securing the approval, and creating that alignment across the entire organization. You are the linchpin that holds it all together. So, the big takeaway here is this. By mastering this blueprint, you are doing so much more than just managing tasks and timelines. You are literally architecting the future of your business, one well-built business case at a time. And that really brings us to the end. You have the blueprint now. You know how to turn a powerful idea into a funded reality. So the only question left is, what's that world-changing idea that you're going to build a case for?